Okefenokee, at the heart of it is, it's the Okefenokee Swamp. You know, it's mysterious, it is large, it is wild. It's this large wilderness area. It's the headwaters of two large rivers, and it has alligators and wild things. It's just a really unique refuge to be at. We were at one of the most severe and long-term drought periods that we had seen in decades. This spring we started having little small fires that might be started by accident or a little lightning strike, and we had to chase them down to ground. And we kept saying, this is unbelievable. We still couldn't envision the magnitude and the ferocity of the fire that came on to us on April 16th.
We were really getting dry. That drought had gone on for a while. The waters were receding down into the deeper water channels, and the alligators and all the aquatic organisms were stacking up down along those runs. We knew it was going to be a matter of the first real active lightning system, and this place was going to be going up like tinder, and that's what happened.
The initial fire actually didn't start on the refuge. It started about 12 miles northwest of the refuge. It was started by a downed power line. Had some high winds, and the power line hit the ground and caused a spark and a fire that ran eventually 12 miles into the northwest corner of the refuge.
That fire got up and ran so fast that even our Type 1 teams that were on at the time said, this surpasses anything we've seen in our fire career. And we've never seen a fire that ran that long, that hard, that's ferocious.
The world was on fire out there. Ash would rain down like snowfall. At one point, it looked like a mushroom cloud right out beyond those pine trees, right out off the back of our parking lot. It was just the whole sky was full of it.
Fire is good for the swamp. What concerns us is when fire leaves the swamp, how it's going to affect private properties.
Now, while that may be good for the habitat, and that may be a good landscape changing event we need periodically, you know it's going to come out, and you know you've got serious obligations to our neighbors to do our best to keep it in the swamp.
We tried to stay ahead of it in terms of the forecast and tried to predict where it was going to move so that we could plan these burnouts. And a burnout is where we actually set a fire ahead of the main fire to take the fuels out in front of it and control it on our terms instead of just letting it run where it wants to or where the wind drives it. Some of those burnouts went well and some of them didn't go so well. We just had to wait on what we call a season-ending event, which could be anywhere from a 5 to 6 inch rainfall.
When you get a break in the weather, you can burn out and remove some of that fuel. We didn't get this fire contained until November. We were still fighting it all the way through the summertime, and it wasn't considered out until December.
But all in all, I think one of the good things that came out was that the communities came together. I mean, people were making sandwiches for firefighters. They were providing drinks, refreshments, anything they could do to help.
We were within a hair's breadth of really coming to the point where thousands of people would have had to be evacuated. But because of the effort of different land managers to use wildfire to deal with the fuels ahead of time, and communities that were really, thought ahead of this and got rid of a lot of that urban interface heavy brush, that fire stopped before it really caused that much trouble. It really strengthened the community's ability to deal with natural events. I mean, we are in a hurricane track. We do have fires. And so in effect, all our local communities are much better able and staged to deal with the next whatever natural event's going to happen to them.